Hey y'all, your OS reviews. So summer is almost upon us, and today we're taking a look at a gadget that's designed to keep you cool. This is the Taurus Coolify 2. Last year in the Seattle region, it actually reached record highs, getting over 118 degrees. It was crazy, considering this is a region that's typically known to be very comfortable and moderate during summer times. Many homes don't even have air conditioning units, and caused a lot of power outages, which was terrible. Based on those experiences, that's why I'm excited to take a look at this product, which claims to be a wearable neck style air conditioner that is rechargeable. It's super compact, and when you are just looking at it, it almost seems like standard headphones or a neckband style headphones. This is their second gen model that combines a fan for using in just a gentle breeze mode, and there's the quote unquote air conditioner mode, which is activating these semiconductor pads that reach a really cold temperature in less than a second. It's actually the same technology found on a lot of those phone coolers, like this one from FlyDigi that we reviewed last year. So it has this pad on the back which you stick onto the phone, and then using that technology, it makes it almost frosty where that pad is touching the surface of your device. So it's the same technology here, but they've just made it a larger surface area, and of course, instead of touching the back of your phone, it's touching your skin, more specifically on your neck, to give you that targeted area where it just feels super cold and gives you the illusion that, again, your temperature is more comfortable and you're cooling down. It's also helped by the fans that is blowing at the same time, brushless motors, so it's going to be very quiet, and that's what they're calling this dual cooling system. Now, the new part about the Coolify 2 versus the first gen model, which is still available, is it also is a heater. It kind of goes against the name, but this becomes a model that you can also use in the wintertime. If you are feeling cold, there is a heat activated mode. They claim that it will reach a colder temperature faster this time around, with also a larger battery inside, so up to 105 pairs of these tiny cooling dots embedded into the material. Using it just as a fan, without turning on the heating or the cooling, it can get upwards of 17 hours. However, if you are activating that real air conditioner mode using the blast chilling, it will last around 2.5 hours or so, which is still decent, but definitely keep that in mind. It just then recharges using a standard Type-C port. Takes about 3 hours though to get fully juiced up from 0 to 100. And in the heating mode, it can last for around 5.5 hours, going for 179, which is definitely a little bit on the pricey side, but again, if you are someone that's consistently in a region which is either very hot or very cold, this is definitely going to be a gadget you may want to consider. Packaging here is pretty simple, and on the inside it is just saying carry your cool, and then we have the very shiny 2 logo. We do get a protective hardshell case, which you can also use to carry the portable air conditioner or fan really with you when you are on the go, kind of like a headphone case. So it is presented quite well, and also has a few lanyards that you can use to hook onto, let's say, additional keychains. We have the Taurus logo, and the back here is also just a matte surface. The front has that glossy, translucent texture to see if you have the product inside or not. So opening things up, we can see that on the inside here is actually where we also get some of the extra accessories, including the charging adapter as well as the quick user guide. So it is presented quite well, as it should, since the pricing here is also a little on the premium side. We have, again, the aforementioned Type-C USB cable, quick user guide that just simply documents how you can charge it, how to correctly wear it, and again, claims to cool down to 27 degrees Fahrenheit in under a second. It is very quick to activate. Here's a quick size contrast with larger over-ear style headphones. So you can tell kind of the difference there. It's actually not too far off. So if you just have this on your neck, it's not going to look too out of place. The construction here is made primarily out of a polycarbonate plastic, which is a hard shell here on the front, but has a few rubber accents here and there. It also makes these very flexible, so you can actually fold it up to 180 degrees. It will not break. We have just a power key on the front, and we can see kind of the fans on the sides, which also propagate the airflow towards your face and when you are wearing it through these vents. Then on the inside here, we have the aforementioned cooling pad, which is really this section here. This area by itself is already feeling kind of cool to the touch, but it will make a bigger difference once we flick it on, of course. There's a sticker on the side there that we should peel off since it's kind of covering up part of the cooling pad. Front of the unit is made of the same glossy plastic material as this cooling section, but this part doesn't get cool or anything like that, just for decorative purposes. And on the back here, we have simply a USB Type-C charging port. There is no additional things like a app, for instance, that you need to connect to. It's basically grab and go. Last but not least, there is just a mode selection key on the other side. So you can switch between heating modes and the different intensities of the cooling. So tapping the power key here once, it will start to turn on, and by default you can also see it will show the battery status remaining to keep a glance on. It will start actually in the cooling mode 1, but there is a memory function, so if I turn off the entire unit just by long holding for about 1.5 seconds, the next time that I turn it on, it will remember the mode and the intensity that I was at, which is pretty neat. Very fast to boot, and almost instantly in this cooling mode, this section here is already getting cold to the touch. It's creating a little bit of condensation as your finger is resting on it. Again, the technology very similar to smartphone coolers for gaming to prevent overheating. So you get that same technology where it gets cold super quick. By default, in this first mode, you'll also have the fans activated. So in the cooling mode, these two components will be always working in conjunction. And the fans on here, they are pretty quiet, at least in this default mode. You can hear a little bit of noise, but it's not distracting to others around you, and the fan is mostly dissipating the wind upwards through these ventilation, which you can definitely feel on the side of your face and your head as you are wearing. Now it is good in terms of it doesn't jostle or make any weird sounds in terms of if you're moving around, giving it a bit of a shake, everything still is working consistently, which is important because this is meant as a portable unit, and the fans there are still operating as expected. Despite if you are walking around or doing a little bit of jogging, it still stays in place. Enter the Mode 2, the cooling here will reach a lower temperature, and also the fans will kick up a little bit more in terms of their intensity. Still not bad. And then the third mode is the maximum mode. We get the loudest noise. It becomes a little bit more obvious, and the pad here also becomes the coldest as well to the touch. The effect in person is actually very convincing. It doesn't become too uncomfortable either. Now if we want to go and switch the mode, we can tap on the side here, and this will actually allow us to enter the fan mode. So now we have the cooling pads completely turned off. It's only the fans that will start to be turned on, and you can use this mode again in these 3 settings, but again, that cooling pad design will get you the maximum effect if you really need it when you're in a super hot and stuffy space. Finally, long holding on the mode selection key there for about 1.5 seconds will turn you into the heated mode. The fans now will completely turn off, but now the pads here will start to kick up and release a bit of heat instead of cooling. So it's pretty cool how the semiconductor works in both heating and cooling modes. It's already getting warm here in less than a second, so very fast. And in this mode, you don't hear any noise at all, but it becomes pretty effective if you are trying to just stay a little bit more warm during, again, winter times. It's not going to make, again, the entire body feel warm though, such as your feet and your hands. So in the heat mode, I would say maybe the efficacy isn't quite as good as cooling, which is still its main strength, I would say. But it's nice to have this added feature. Even though I wouldn't say it's operating this in the same way as an actual air conditioner, it's also not really a scam. It really does cool you down because of these instant cold pads on the side that you are wearing when you flick that mode on. And perhaps one of the best wearable fans that are currently on the market because of all the features. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Taurus Coolify 2. And overall, I have to say it's a pretty neat idea and does the job if you're looking for just a personal cooler that will allow you to stay a little more fresh during summertime. Continue to use it even if, let's say, the electricity goes out or if you're stepping outside. This has been the Taurus Coolify 2. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.